students, I am Miss Shamla. I will be guiding you through Unit 5. We are at Week 3, Term 2. Today's topic is looking ahead. We will be looking at the future form. As you have learned, will, shall and going to are used to describe the future time. Will is used to describe prediction such as I'll be 30 in a few days' time. I'll see you later. Meanwhile, going to is also used for prediction. It is going to rain soon. Very little difference can be seen between will and going to. We will learn about this in detail when we resume our classes. Meanwhile, will is used to express decisions or intention made at the moment. For example, I'll phone you back in a minute. Meanwhile, going to is used to express future plans. When she grows up, she's going to be a dancer. For personal arrangements and fixed plans, we will use present continuous. For example, I'm having lunch with Brian tomorrow. Lastly, for present simple, we will be using it to describe future events based on a timetable. Now, let's look at your book on page 38. At the first section, which is test your grammar. This is to test your ability to recognize the future form used. You are required to match the sentences with the correct future forms. Next, try to name each of these forms. The next section, you need to look at how do you see your future. You will need to look at the people and listen to them talking about future. Put the numbers 1 to 6 next to the names and try to get all of them correct. In part 3, you need to answer some questions based on the recording you have just heard. If you are not sure, listen to the recording again. Next, can you try to build the questions based on the answers given from the recording? For example, the first one states Cambridge University. So we should write, which university is she going to? Next section, we will look at the language focus. Let's look at the language focus on page 39. What do the sentences refer to? Is it present or future? Try to think about the differences between these sentences. For further explanation, please refer to the grammar reference on page 144. I will talk about it in detail during class later. Now, let's go on to the practice. Choose the correct forms in the pairs of the sentences. You may listen to the answer and check. If you are doubtful, you can ask me in class later. Now, turn to page 40. Here, you need to look at the scene, and I'm sure everyone knows that it is on a plane. You are required to put the correct verbs in the bracket. Try to use present simple, present perfect, will, or future continuous. The next, let's look at talking about you. Here, you need to complete the questions with natural future forms. But remember, there are many different answers for each blank. So be careful. We are now looking at the next part, which are ways to respond to yes or no questions. You have to listen to the questions and complete the different responses as you hear the recording. The section 5 is asking questions about future possibilities in your life. Try writing out the questions and answers, and we will discuss this in the coming class. Finally, we come to the last section for today, which is listening and speaking at page 41. We are going to look at an article named A Neat Solution. You're required to read about neat. What does neat means? What are surprising about the figures? Is there a word for neat in your language? Do you know the figures for neat in your country? Listen and check your answers. Next, listen to 3 young people talking about being a neat. Then, divide the headings into 3 columns and put down notes about the speakers into the column. In section 4, you are advised to think about the questions on the section and discuss the answers in class later. We will be doing the spoken English section in class once you are back. Finally, a few things for you to think and give some possible solutions. The transformation from the need to eat, which is educated, employed, and trained. Look at the list of solutions and choose which works best. Lastly, in the writing section, you are required to learn about applying for a job on page 108. I will do this section in class for you to have a better understanding. That's all for this unit. Happy learning, everyone. See you again.